welcome to Fun. Everyone's favorite podcast with the Chuckle King. It's Dan. I'm here. I'm back. Today's a very special episode if you should choose to accept to listen to it. Light the fuse, you know? I love it so much. I love light the fuse. Okay. We got to be serious because it's a serious podcast where I take fun seriously. I'm excited because when I started talking to Nathan, my podcast producer.
Oh, hi. Oh, hello,
This
Daniel.
gentleman here, haloed by Tokyo merchandise. God bless him.
And this
behind his
beautiful
head.
pin that has nothing to do. Let's see if I can get on camera.
Oh, I love
nothing
that.
to do with what we're doing at
Right.
all
Be
today.
careful with that pin; it might explode.
It could.
We have a mission for you. And when I was talking to Nathan, when we were talking about this podcast, one of the ideas that he threw my way that I was like, oh my God, that blows my mind. I can't wait to talk to people about this. Is let's grab a person who's like an expert in like a specific brand and IP and say to them, hey, what would you dream about having this brand as a theme park attraction? What would be the ultimate get for you, this master of a brand? And guys, I found the greatest master to start this series with. All right. This is incredible. A senior writer for The Wrap, author of several books. We'll talk about him. Theme park nerd. He follows me on Twitter. And co-host of the official Mission Impossible podcast, Light the Fuse. It's Drew Taylor. Drew, welcome.
I am so happy to be here. I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm so happy to be here. And, you
don't know what you're doing here, sir. You have ascended to the highest form of podcasting. You are like a podcasting saint now. I don't know if you realize this. Like,
I
know what I mean? Pieces of your bones will go on to be worshipped by certain people.
Patron saint of podcast canon. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
There's no more of a movie. Like, when you think of movies, you think about Mission Impossible. And, like, sir, you're the host of its official podcast. What?
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. A series of events. Yeah, we've been doing the podcast for many years, and then Paramount and our good buddy, Mr. Cruz, said, why don't you come on over and do it officially? So that's where we've been for the past year.
You literally were given a mission, and you chose to accept it.
And you chose to accept it.
It was more like, there were conversations and there were, things going on. And then when you kind of lob that and say, if you could say something, and then when Cruz enters the chat, that's when things get serious. And so, a wonderful group of people and we're so happy to be working with them in an official capacity now. It's just great. It's just dreams come true. That certainly was one of them. Yeah.
Because it's now the official movie podcast, are you forbidden from speaking about the television show? Like contractually?
No,
I'm not even allowed to ask you that question?
No, well, the television show, there are weird rights issues, but
oh, that's true.
We did notice that when we talked about the show when we were unofficial, not that many people listened. I'm not going to lie.
Right.
Dan, you might have listened to those episodes, but I don't know who else did.
Look, I tell you what. I should host the Martin Landau cast because I do love me some Roland Hand, big O time.
Yes.
And I've decided that Mission Impossible, the television series, weirdly did not get the COVID treatment that Columbo did, which is it is a show about professional people that are very professional and are able to have a problem and complete it in the span of an hour. And at that time, we were all desperate for professional people who could do professional things professionally. And man, if you like that kind of like organized material, that show really hit. For sure.
There was one time when we were going to actually go through every episode, but you couldn't tell on those early episodes that I was just not into it. Although we had Barbara Bain on the show and Leslie Ann
That's
Warren.
cool.
They were great. It was really cool. But yeah,
that's cool.
Didn't listen.
That's nifty.
Yeah.
Nathan's been watching the show. So
yeah,
it's, I'm more into the 80s show where they filmed in Australia and couldn't hire any new writers, so they just used scripts from the 60s.
Yeah, they did. They're just like
during a writer's strike. Yeah,
updated variations on. Yeah, it's so weird.
It's pretty funny.
It's one of those shows that I feel like that era, the shows either hit and like you can still watch them, or you're like, boy, this is a long one. I've never, God bless you, Paramount, no issues. But I've never watched a 2-part Mission Impossible television series thing where I went, oh yeah, that needed 2 parts. Like it's
just slam dunk, no notes, no notes. Yeah.
I want more. Could it have been 3? Yeah. I you know what? I'm a true millennial. I don't even remotely care about the TV show whatsoever. I'm truly into the films. The minute
this
Tom
beautiful,
Cruise, the minute that beautiful man was in a pinch.
That's the Christmas card right there. Yep.
He's sitting next to a fish tank, and if you're not a respectable orthodontist in my book, unless you got a fish tank, you know what I mean? Like being in a building with a fish tank means something, you know. And Tom, he sticks that gum together, and it's on, baby. Like that for me was like I chew that gum. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
lasagna. Don't get any on you, baby. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I was hooked instantly, and these movies, I mean, they continue to transcend time and space. I'm so obsessed with them, and all I want is
Can I get your rankings, Dan, before we get any further?
Okay, we can get the rankings. We can get the rankings.
Go ahead.
I respect the first one. You respect the first one for it's number 1. It truly is.
Yes.
I agree.
It's so not what the series is anymore. But it's like the first season of Drag Race, baby. It's why you know what I mean? You got to respect the foundation, you know? Then then it essentially just goes 3, 4, 5. I mean, they just go all in order, and then 2's at the end. I'm sorry.
Okay, hold on.
I'm sorry, Dubs.
1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 2.
Yeah.
See, I've thought far harder about this, Drew. It's De Palma top for sure.
Yeah, okay.
De Palma, there's no doubt.
I'm writing this down.
You got a script by Robert Towne. I can't ignore that. And then I think it's gonna go. This is tough. I think Fallout: Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Ugh.
Rogue.
Listen.
Wait, hold on. Ghost Protocol, Rogue. No. I gotta go back. Mission Impossible, the original, Fallout, Rogue Nation 3, Ghost Protocol 2. But I need to be very clear here.
Wait, you missed 7 now. Now you took 7 out. Is it 1, 6, 7, 5, 3, 4, 2?
Yes. But I need to be very clear. The gaps here are wide. Okay, like it is a chasm between 2 and I like 2 in a weird different way. But like I you could put any Macquarie or Brad Bird or Abrams 1 in a cable channel, and if it was on, I would, and it was in the middle of it, I would watch the whole thing.
We need the Roku channel that's just the Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah. So it's like top of the hill, and then it's like top of the hill, then the village that's at the hill, and that's all the other ones, and then 2 is sort of at the bottom of the hill. That's kind of how I see it. 2 is respectable. Okay, I'm sorry. There are moments. The killer.
It stays on the list. It's not like Die Hard. You know, where Die Hard 2, you're remiss to get people to even mention Die Hard 2 on the lists of your favorite Die Hards. You know, where Mission Impossible was finding its legs. It was growing up as a rebellious teenager. You know, it was growing pains. You know,
it was throwing glasses at screens. You know,
yeah. It was throwing glasses at screens. But here's the thing. I was like in the throes of high school during 2. But like I graduated in 2005. Mission Impossible 3 is 2006. You know what I mean? I'm working a minimum wage job. I live for summer movie releases. You know what I mean? And like Mission Impossible 3 rolls in. Philip Seymour Hoffman is incredible. Ving Rhames, you know, but Michelle, the love interest in Mission Impossible 3, when she comes back, like it's the best. Yeah. No one was more beautiful to me in that moment, like, you know, than the eyebrows of Julia, you know, like, my God, like Julia's eyebrows really, they captured me. They captured my heart. And she's just so beautiful, you know, she was like Superman's girlfriend, you know what I mean? And like, you just wanted to protect her. You wanted to see her done right, you know?
Also Maggie Q in 3, total band.
Oh, Maggie Q is so
Carrie
good.
Russell?
Yeah.
You got like a murderer's row of wonderful
Right.
dynamic women in 3.
And listen, I'm fully behind like people being like, oh, Die Hard 1-7-6-5-5-4-3, like a phone number or whatever.
Right.
But with Mission Impossibles, to me growing up, it was like I like got out of high school, and then each movie was like an exciting new escalation. Like it does escalation in the ways that Shonda Rhimes wishes that she could escalate. You know what I mean? These movies escalate, and I love that. Like, and what's so great is that it's just so accessible in the ways that like Transformer escalating. Oh, great, more metal,
Too much
more,
lore.
more,
Yeah.
more,
Oh, yes.
whatever. Yeah, exactly. You can't get much more lore, with Ethan, other than like, it's.
Although they
he's just.
did introduce some new stuff in Dead Reckoning that was kind of interesting.
They did.
I loved
They
it.
did.
I
like
loved it. Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah.
Well,
I like
before we get into the meat of it, I just have to tell you the story that, I'm sure this happens to Dan every time he sets foot on Disney property. But I was going to get my order from Chick-fil-A, and the kid behind the counter recognized my voice, and he was like, "Light the fuse!" And I was like getting my sandwich, and I was like, "Give me your rankings." So
Wait. Was he drive through or in?
No,
you went in
store.
In store.
Yeah.
One time I was driving through a Wendy's. I can't even believe it's a story I have. And like I'm like, nuggets, Frosty, you want sauce? No. Are you Disney Dan? I was like, ma'am, I'm at a Wendy's. Will you leave me alone?
Oh, see, I've only been I've only been caught in the
It was
wild.
an incredible moment.
I've only been caught in the wild Pokeball style once, and it was weirdly enough at opening day of the Cantina in Galaxy's Edge, and so I'm like looking cool.
If the audience that was going to recognize you was going to be somewhere, it'd be that
but
day,
I was looking
Nathan.
cool, I was like at a neat bar, and they're like, "Are you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am."
Yes.
Like it was a very cool moment.
It was your Han Solo moment.
Yeah, and it's all been downhill.
And then you
since.
shot first. Who shot first? You?
No shooting. It's a theme park.
Okay.
I wasn't able to do any of that, sadly.
Right. I'm sorry. Yeah. No blasters.
No blasters.
No blasters.
No use of force.
When did you get in, Drew? Before we get into the whole theme park Mission Impossible bit, let's talk about theme parks.
Yeah.
When did you get into theme parks?
I was always into theme parks. I grew up in San Antonio, so Fiesta, Texas was kind of my hometown park when it was back before it was even Six Flags, when it was owned by AARP, I believe was the first.
The old people come.
A theme park for
it was UTSA. It was an insurance company that owned it. It was an insurance company that built that park, which is really interesting. And they maintained it, and it was this weird little original park, but it had a great...
Drew, that's just called vertical integration, baby.
It is.
That's all that
true.
is.
That's true. Anytime
It's
anybody
genius.
anytime somebody falls or gets vertigo, they take care of them. So yeah, I was always super into theme parks, and then we would go to Disney pretty regularly, as I am now, knowing how much older I am than both of you. But so I got to experience kind of the halcyon days of Epcot, and then when MGM opened, it was like, for a little nerd that loved animation and filmmaking, it was like, it was truly
really
mind-blowing.
cool.
Yeah.
MGM Hollywood Studios, by and large, has lost its magic, has lost its like mission. It's so. Oh my god, that's not what this podcast is.
I don't really understand
But
what it is. Every time I go down there for like work or something, I'm just like, what is the difference between these parks?
Do you know that folder you have on your desktop where you're like, I don't know where to put this right now, I'm just going to put it in that folder? That's
Yes.
Hollywood Studios.
Yes.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah. So yes,
I
I've
don't
been
know.
a long time. I've been since I was a young lad. I've been obsessed with theme parks and what's going on in them and with them. And it seems like an exciting time for theme parks right now. Maybe not Disney theme parks necessarily, but theme parks in general seems like a very as much as I love Dan walking around a barren husk of an Epcot Center kind of entrance area. That looked
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, I had a great time. The air conditioning was nice. It was nice and crisp, And it's interesting, as we're talking about theme parks, and a transition I'd like to make and a conversation I want to have is that Jeremy Renner has been the secret sauce for a lot of franchises getting into theme parks. All right. Yeah. People think it's the Chris's, but it's really the Jeremy, right. And so, the Avengers are, Hawkeye's in the park, Avengers this, Avengers that, Bourne Stunt Spectacular.
Yeah.
My question is, Drew,
Yeah.
Where do you register on the Jeremy Renner scale? Were you a secret? Were you like, all right, yeah, like take it over, baby? Like what they were going to do to Indiana Jones,
right?
Give it to me. I want a new, fresh, Mission Impossible Junior with Jeremy Renner.
Right.
What would have the Mission Impossible have been? I think about it endlessly when I do rewatches. I'm hyper fixated on Jeremy Renner in the series. Where are you as the Light the Fuse official voice?
I mean, I think Dan, I will
cut to TMZ.
I was going to say, Dan, we'll talk about this offline about what went into that, but I mean, I think that what's fun is that the team can be reconfigured. I have a suspicion that the 8th movie will be the last with Tom kind of like leading the team, but sure. I hope Brent comes back. I mean, you heard that he was going to come back, I think in Fallout, and then
right.
McQuarrie wanted to kill him off, and he was like, no. So he's still in the ether. We always talk about how all the like IMF middle management bosses are still out there, like Lawrence Fishburne, and we saw Henry Cerny came back in the last one.
I think about it all the time.
Yes. Anthony Hopkins, they're all there somewhere.
Can we compile a list? Can I come on no, have you back with a compiled list of all the potential loose ends that can return, and we'll rank them. We'll put our odds down on who will return.
Yes.
I mean, I got Gidrich. I'm done. I got Gidrich. I'm fine. No matter what.
And we saw that the guy from the Black Vault from the first one is coming back in 8.
What?
Yeah. And what's really funny is that when we were on set in 2022, they brought us on set. They didn't tell us anything about what this set was. And they go, see if you can figure it out. And we got it in like 30 seconds. They were like, oh my God. Like the unit publicist was like, you guys really are the biggest freaks on earth. And we were like, thank you.
That's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah. So he will be back.
On the set for the movie we haven't seen yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were on the set in 2022. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. I am so hyped for the escalation stunts in this movie, especially if you Drew are speculating it might be his last. He's going to blow up the earth at the end of this one. I think. Like, what else could there be? Is he going to walk on the moon? Like, what is going to happen?
He's going to space.
I mean, the things that are in this next one are so mind-blowingly amazing. And we saw like a little kind of sizzle from the climax that they had shown at IMAX headquarters. They literally made like the Paramount executives go to IMAX headquarters just to see this footage from the end of 8. And there's a moment in it that we were both like, "Oh my God!" And that's all I can say. But it is amazing. Yeah. And there's something even bigger than that we didn't get to see them film, but is like in this thing, and it's just going to be absolutely insane. Yeah.
I'm hyped. I'm tingling. My spider senses are going wild.
Yeah. May 25th, 2025. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Here's the hard hitting question now, Drew. Here's where I really put your Mission Impossible expertise to the test. You're my guinea pig here.
Okay.
Pitch me a Mission Impossible ride or attraction. Like, pitch it to me. What is your dream scenario of having, all the formulas, indoor themed coaster, you know what I mean? Indoor themed simulator, indoor, there's just the world's, even in a Little Mermaid ride. If you say to me that I need a Mission Impossible best of Omnimover, just stunning climactic moments, Tom's hovering in the air on a motorcycle.
And by the way, to be clear, we're going to talk stunt show possibilities after this. So
that's true.
You can't default to a stunt show.
And
you can't do a stunt show.
You know that they have proposed Mission Impossible rides in the past. I feel
Paramount,
like there was a park in England or something, right? Wasn't that?
And we can talk about that, but those the people who pitched those rides, Drew, they weren't professional Mission Impossible enthusiasts.
That's true.
Sir, the fact that you weren't collaborating paid your appearance fee, like what is any person thinking? You know what I mean? Like, Tom blessed you himself and gave you this title and role. Like, call Drew up when you're planning the roller coaster.
I know. None of these people get the Tom Cruise cake.
Because if you don't have a Drew, you know what you get? You get veggie, fruit is what you get if you don't have a Drew.
That's true. It's true.
So is that what you want?
No.
Is that what you want Tom to be doing in your theme parks? No.
Right. Well, I mean,
No.
I think we have to start like in the queue, right, where you have to be kind of like inducted into the IMF, like whatever that process looks like. You know what I mean?
It's like Men in Black at Universal. Like yes. It's like it's a quirky thing, and then like brr, and like a door opens. Drew, I like what you're putting down.
So
right,
you
great.
get to be an agent. That's where we're landing.
You get
right
to be
now.
an agent,
okay,
and you're going on a mission with Tom to do something incredible.
Who's doing the safety video?
Well,
are we talking Simon Pegg?
I think Simon Pegg.
And Ving.
Simon
and Ving. Yeah.
Simon and Ving. Maybe in like a Twister,
they hack in and take over the monitors. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, we got access.
Yes.
We got access. All right, we need you guys. We've recruited you. We've sealed the doors.
Yes. And you know what?
Because you know how Simon... he can control doors with his computer from anywhere.
Yes, he can do it all. Yeah. Can you get like a little earpiece or something?
It's like the sonic screwdriver.
Yeah.
A human sonic screwdriver.
That's it. But like, you know, the lore, speaking of the lore in 7, we've learned that these people are just average people that get, you know, recruited. I was always kind of under the assumption that Ethan was like the military and he got recruited that way, but he was like kind of a bad seed or something that's introduced in 7. So listen, anybody can be a part of the IMF. Maybe they have a new recruitment plan, and you go on this mission with Tom, and maybe the onboard audio we can get Tom to do. Not, you know, he's not going to appear in the pre-show, but maybe he could sort of be helping you along the way.
I mean, clearly, I feel like you could get the Mummy Brendan Fraser. Hey, thank you all so much for helping us.
I bet Tom would totally film a post-ride.
Yeah,
thank you for supporting Mission Impossible. Thank you for supporting movies. That's his whole brand, baby. You know, he's the Pope of thank you for going to the movies.
If we could somehow channel the energy of the way that Tom shakes your hands and looks into your eyes. I don't know if we've developed the technology yet, but that really is something. But
once the computers learn it, we're all in trouble.
We got it.
Once the computers learn it, keep that man safe.
Yes. Yeah,
keep him away from sensors.
What if we were going up against the entity in the ride?
I think
you could see the like, you know, the kind of like the personification of the entity kind of coming along the track or whatever. If we're going coaster style.
You know, you're right.
Okay,
that's a great point. That the entity finally gives us like a non-human villain that you don't have to like fully explain. It can just be like, all right, here's a thing, and it now controls your vehicle. Right. Like it's much simpler.
If you shine a light on Isai Morales is kind of like in the corner, you know, scuttling away, that could also be something that could happen. But
it's like the Shia LaBeouf vehicle Eagle Eye.
Yeah,
I think, right?
Same
like,
vibe.
You know, that like.
Thank you for bringing up Eagle Eye, Dan. You know, that's what we need.
Dan, you don't understand this. Dan is very big in the Shia LaBeouf Hitchcock verse of 2 films of Suburbia.
What was the other one?
Hitchcock.
Disturbia.
Yeah, Suburbia and Disturbia. That's right.
I watch Volcano and Dante's Peak back to back constantly.
Yeah,
I love it. It makes me so happy. I
weird
love
niche vibes. That's literally this
Deep
podcast.
Impact and Armageddon when that happened. I was like, how did this happen? I was in middle school. I was like, what's going on, guys? Does anyone have their eyes open? There's 2 Meteor films in the movie theaters right now. What is happening?
Dan, just like an attraction, Dan. Though I'm going to keep you on track. Let's get back to Mission Impossible.
Oh, keep me on track. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So,
well, I think have you done Hang Time at Knott's Berry Farm? Either of you?
No, I know of it though.
Okay, but it's sort of a dangling coaster. I feel like that would lend itself very well to some kind of Mission Impossible scenario.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Where you're kind of
yeah.
pitched on the precipice, and then, but you know, Tom's all about 4 quadrant, so we need to figure out a way of making this a family coaster, maybe, or something.
I mean, coaster feels a little
aggressive.
I don't know. No. Post Cosmic Rewind, I'm not sure if it feels that aggressive anymore to do a coaster. But
Cosmic Rewind is a very aggressive ride. It is not a non-aggressive ride. It is dolled up and cute. Here's what I is aggressive.
Here's what I would say. My brain is landing on. I see the scene from Indiana Jones Adventure when you come up and then Indy's hanging right there. If I could get an animatronic Ethan Hunt who's like dangles down.
We're already running into some roadblocks because TC is not super great with the likeness rights.
That's very true.
So that's going to be a big hurdle.
I go to the Indiana Jones stunt show all the time, and I see that sign above the entrance of that attraction, and I'll tell you what, that man is not Harrison Ford that's on that painting of the Indiana Jones stunt show.
True.
You know what I mean? And I ride the Indiana Jones ride, and the person I'm looking at is Barrison Roard. You know, it's
You're
not.
Okay with
it's
it.
you know.
You're okay with it. Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
if
you just got to change 7 things.
all you got to do, and we've seen enough of this in the films, is you just got to put some big old goggles on an animatronic face, and we'll go.
Right.
I think
Right.
that
Right.
was
Right.
Tom Cruise.
Right.
Maybe.
Right. We need the actual goggles from the great goggles from Ghost Protocol.
Oh yeah,
Custom made Oakleys. We need them on the figure. Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you that you're pitching a good 3D simulator ride with this? The fact that you have to put on Ethan's Oakleys,
Yes.
you know, like a Spider-Man type ride is kind of, and honestly, guys, IMF, like, there's the entity has prototype devices, and you know, Simon and you know Ving have hacked one, and, you know, and it's like, and now it's like a best of all of Ethan's stunts.
Yeah.
Like Ethan has to like you just daisy chain like Forbidden Journey in those dome things. You know what I mean? Like just daisy chain every best stunt from all 7 films. Like that they're there. And you have so much B-roll of those stunts. I know they do. You know what I mean? You don't even need Tom to show up. You just like
are you suggesting,
just pull from the archives.
Dan, are you suggesting a great Mission Impossible ride in the sense of you just get on a thing and you just great movie ride right through each individual film?
Ooh,
absolutely,
I'm into
absolutely.
That.
I would argue that when the now defunct, this is guys, what I'm about to say is the most insane thing ever.
By the way, I think defunct is owned by Kevin Perjurer. I don't think you can just say the word defunct.
It's okay. It's okay. And Drew, if you want to do, I would love to do an episode about this because it used to be my expertise. There was the now defunct Toys to Life video game Lego Dimensions that had a Mission Impossible story pack, and I used to own the premier Lego Dimensions website called Bricks to Life. I had like a huge, robust Wikipedia and like written guide. You know, back like in the days of Prima guides. Like and like owning a website is the most odious thing ever. Like there's hackers like, and I just have I have executive dysfunction. I can't handle. So it's now all gone. But the Mission Impossible Lego Dimensions pack literally took you on a best of. Yeah. You kind of like rode the rails of every story and like hit all of the major stunt beats, and that's what all the levels were built around. And then the general playland was this whole like Easter egg packed open world mission with every location. I mean, like, yeah, that's the thing to do. You like Harry Potter and Forbidden Journey. You best of. Yeah. You bring all the stunts.
What if it was a scenario where it's like you're joining the IMF, but you have to learn from the best. So we have to show you like
training.
These are the great.
It's an IMF simulator like NASA has.
Yes, exactly. But
it's an IMF simulator. Then you go back to the future. Then you go just back to the future route, like Simpsons ride route. You know what I mean? Like, all right, you load into a simulator, you lift up into the main arena. Boom! Here we've organized, and we're going to track your vitals. You know what I mean? Like, and you have like maybe like, I mean, hey, if we can do it. If all my gym equipment can track my heart rate, no way I can't sit on something that doesn't do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you know, or like put my arms on something that you put the real heart rate up or something. Be like, we're training you. Here's all the, you know, most intense moments. You know, it's like Dumbledore's pensive.
And then the twist is that the entity gets into the training simulator, and that's where boom. There we go.
Yeah,
I mean, what could be better? What could be better?
I do need an elevator.
Ving and Simon
segment.
are the heroes.
Yes, they'll get us out of it. Yeah, exactly.
And I need an elevator segment where we do a little drop with the entity messing with the elevator. Maybe you could throw on an Emilio Estevez animatronic on the top of that elevator. I wouldn't say no. But I do think that, you know, elevators are key. R.A.P. Gone too soon. But I think that elevators are far more key than we realize in Mission Impossible 2. There's just lots of vertical action that occurs in Mission Impossible. So I can't ignore
I think if we go the route of the Spider-Man ride at Universal, you can very easily do, because that happens, you vertically drop in that ride, and the illusion is very real, so you can do the iconic, you know what I mean? Like, like the end of the ride ends as you like sliding into a room where, whoa, we all feel like we're falling down to the white floor. Right. You know what I mean? And then we just about hit it, and you know, like it's like, all right, you passed.
I mean, I should be falling off the Burj Khalifa, right? Like at some point, in this.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
yes,
absolutely. You're doing all of it. We are on the side of a plane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's everything. You're everything.
Yes. I think that's great. And then, when you leave, like the doors open and maybe you see some friends we haven't seen, and you see Maggie Q and Jonathan Rhys Davies walking by or whatever.
You see Jeremy.
You see Jeremy. Where is he? Yes.
But he's standing next to a bow and arrow, and he winks. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because you're in a. I guess we're not in a Disney park, so that doesn't make sense. But if Disney makes the wise choice to license the rights,
yes, absolutely. Yeah,
the wise choice.
Untapped.
Universal. You know what Universal licensed? Fast and the Furious, bro. That's like licensing Gone in 60 seconds. Got to get in there and get Mission Impossible,
I know.
Worthless compared to Mission Impossible. The greatest movie brand on earth.
Yes, I agree.
In my opinion.
You
like,
could
truly.
You could have a whole land, and you could do a coaster, too, and, Mission,
all right, what's children's...
Break out of the Burj. Yeah.
What's one child flat ride that you think would be themed well? Because if you're building a land, bro, we got the e-ticket, but we need two more rides.
That's true.
All right, we need the Smuggler's Run, And so here's what I'm thinking. At Legoland, my kids, they do this like brick tower trainer where you get in and you pull a rope to like pull yourself up, and then you let go of the rope and it lets you like slide down. So it's kind of like Tower of Terror, but you control it. Easily an amazing IMF like training device. You know what I mean? You put 4 of those together like you do over at Hollywood Studios, Aliens, Swirling Saucers. I'm not swearing, kids. I'm saying anagrams. Is that what? Or acronyms or something. It's only cool when adults say acronyms, kids. But yeah, I think that would easily be it. You're not going to do teacups. You can't do teacups.
I was thinking maybe like a spinner, but have the outside be an aquarium. Like you build a giant kind of like circular aquarium, and then as you're looking out from your spinner, you're seeing various agents moving around.
No way people aren't going to Everest hairband that ride with chewed gum being lobbed at the walls constantly.
No.
It's going to be a horror show there, Drew.
Right.
I'm going to cut you off right now. I'm the parks management guy at the table being like, excuse me, I have a question. Who's going to clean the gum? My team's not.
I love it.
Yeah. I think going the ways of I don't think going body tours, or like Body Wars or Star Tours. Body tours coming soon. That's a combination.
That's a totally
you go into
Chewbacca's.
You go inside Chewbacca's eardrum and you help him find his. I don't know.
Moving on,
a swollen lymph node or something. I don't know what's wrong with Wookiees. They live forever. I don't know. I don't really know much about Wookiee. But I don't think a Star Tours kind of ride. You being in a capsule, you have to be open like Spider-Man. It has to have practical buildings. You have to feel it like like living with the land. And Spider-Man is so good at it. I ride it now at Universal. My kids are like, Dad, what are you doing? They gave us glasses. I'm like, I'm not like just watching what's going on around you in that ride is spectacular.
Let me throw out an idea here that we could utilize some Kong Skull Island Fast and the Furious technology. Not great, but all right. We got. If you remember, in early Epcot, they wanted to create a Japanese ride where you were on a bullet train and all the windows were screens. Right now, what if that bullet train was a very specific bullet train, but not in Japan? And we did a little side shenanigans. We did some cars and we did some jumping on bullet trains.
The only problem with that is I think Dan's right about there having to be some kind of physical set involvement.
Yeah,
because
the
I don't think
train is weak.
Would not be into.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
The Hogwarts it'd essentially be like Mission Impossible. The Hogwarts train.
I do love like having this conversation. I firmly in my heart know that whenever there is a ride that comes out, it will be good because Tom Cruise had final say. The quality, it's like, legit. I'm not worried.
Like, people do not give that man enough credit about like how he knows how to make movies, y'all. Yes. You know what I mean?
And he
knows
also,
how to make movies.
I don't know if he's ever been in a theme park. Now I'm going to have to ask him the next time I see him. Tom, tell me, when was the last time you were in a theme park? But I feel like you're right that his level of like quality control would be just like he could have never stepped into a theme park, but he has this ability to like project himself kind of astral project into the audience. And I feel like he would be able to do that as a theme park guest and be like, okay, what do I want to experience?
That man knows what an audience wants.
Yes.
It is his special power. It's his sixth sense.
Absolutely.
So I truly believe that he could astral project into a theme park guest and be like, I know what it is, guys. I know what it is.
And I think there was a Top Gun ride at one
Kings
of the
Island
parks, right?
Probably
Kings
some
Island,
other
okay.
ones.
Kings Island.
Yeah, but
it was a coaster, I believe, right?
Yeah, it was previously. It was called the Bat, I think, and it was a dangly coaster. It was a dangle thing, and you were in a
If we did one for Maverick, it would have to be. We'd have to upgrade
see now,
right? And that's the thing.
Are we talking Tom Cruise Land? Because I'd go to Tom Cruise Land if we just want to go to a whole theme park. That's Tom Cruise Land.
An Oblivion ride.
Days of
I would be all over it.
Yeah,
I would be right there for it.
I could ride Edge of Tomorrow over and over and over
again. That's the joke.
Thank you.
Yeah. In fact, you have to ride the ride twice before you get off. That's a crazy thing about it.
That's true.
It's like a Ferris wheel. Excuse me. I don't think you could go the route of a Six Flags though, or like a Busch Gardens and just like name a coaster, the Mission Impossible, like they do Batman or Joker or whatever. Yeah. That is not going to fly. It has to be something. And honestly, I don't think that a Transformers ride, a Kong ride, a Fast and the Furious, like these screen-based things, nonsense to me. Like they don't work. They just don't work. I'm sorry, they just don't work.
Right.
There is an alternate version of Soarin' that Legoland employs, and if you ever go to like an IAAPA conference, it's actually pretty cool, and it feels very IMF in a way that your Soarin' vehicle is on a wall. You sit down on this bench and you load all your stuff in these cubbies in front of you, and you're sitting there and you're like, where is the ride? And then like you like Scooby-Doo bookcase, and the wall, you flip around into a big Soarin' dome, so cool. And then it's like a motion controlled thing, but you're sitting like in a glider type thing. I think something like that, like the allure of like the wall spinning, like it could be like look like an office, like just a regular office, and the pre-show's getting you in there and loaded, and then the wall spins, and then boom, you're in this high-tech dome.
Let me pitch the greatest Mission Impossible ride of all time. I've just realized it. Okay. Normal ride, but it gets stopped midway, and a guest on the ride is like, man, this is not going to work out, and he's getting really nervous, and then he goes, fine, it was me, and then just all the walls fall down. And it's just
you want a mousetrap built in.
Yeah, it's not even called Mission Impossible. It's just Mission Impossible is the sting operation inside the ride. There we go.
Let me get ahead of you here. The budget for a live actor on every roller coaster train is going to put that ride idea right into the ground. We are looking to reduce, save, and reuse, and not hire more.
Let's talk stunt show. Let's talk possibilities.
Well.
Oh,
Before
go ahead.
we get there, I want to just throw out one more potential is a shooter attraction, sort of like Dick Tracy Crime Stoppers, where you are involved in a mission. Where, like Men in Black. Like Men in Black, but it would have to be probably specifically, I think 3 is probably the gun heaviest one. So
I was going to say, there's not a lot of guns. I don't think of...
No. Here's the thing. You continue. Simon and Ving are our heroes here. Like they actually are the core of the ride. Well, it's not Tom. It's the two of them.
For budgetary reasons.
It's around Tom's existing stunts. Yeah. But no, you know what? I actually did. Tom is a man of honor and integrity, and if the ride would like succeed because of him being like stepping in for if he knew that was the difference of it being the greatest ride ever, he would. Let's be honest. Let's be serious.
Yeah.
But to say the entity has taken over our training grounds, really, and it's like a Men in Black thing. It's just a simulator. Yeah. Do you have what it takes to join the IMF? And you're not shooting guns, but they're like, all right, we have these things set up. The entity's taken over. We need you to clear the virus. You need to clear the virus out of the system. Push the entity back out, and you're like with your QR scanner from a grocery store. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're like forcing the entity out of all of like the hardware and the servers, and
that's a perfect
it's something
fix.
Like that.
Yeah, no, I love that. That would be great.
And then at the end you get off the ride and Tom's there, he's like, thank you for choosing to support movies, go
Mission
to movies.
Impossible.
You are
Mission
the movie.
Impossible, the entity attacks. There you go.
Yeah, and the Entity Attacks is great. Yeah. Entity Takeover. Entity Takedown.
Well,
there you go.
Theme parks.
Yes.
So it's going to be Tom Cruise Presents, Mission Impossible, Entity Takedown, Ethan's Adventure would probably be more what 3D. It would end up being. In 3D. Yeah.
And you get Steven Spielberg, and he comes into the pre-show, and he's like, Ethan Hunt's in trouble. He's receiving a distress call from home.
Yeah, Steven.
Yeah. I love getting on that ride, and my kids get so embarrassed, but I'm just like, E.T., your dad's here. E.T., it's time to go home. I'm in the queue. I scream it that loud. My kids are like, God, Dad, stop.
Dan, knowing you, I'm sure that's the only time that ever happens with your children. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know what, though? My joyful glee and my willingness to play gets me so much free stuff. And all of you miserable people out there could keep living the life you live, but I will live the life of joy and enjoy my extra dessert, baby. It's incredible. It's you know, I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm so rotund, because of my kindness, because of everyone keeps giving me extra dessert.
Stunt show.
You know, when I ask for sprinkles, they really give me sprinkles.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Drew, have you seen Universal's Born Spectacular? Have you seen
I haven't, but it looks... I haven't been to Universal in a while. Obviously, I will alleviate that when Epic Universe opens, but it looks amazing.
Yeah, because they're going to force you.
They are going to force you.
They're going to force you. Yeah, because you have to buy a 3-day ticket, baby, to get in that door.
That's right. I'll need some.
So when you do...
Yeah.
And I know, Drew, it's a crazy thing to say, but you have to stay at one of the deluxe resorts, because everyone in your room gets express pass by sleeping on a Lowe's Royal. Okay. So, and it's like $250 a pop in the summertime per person. And so that $800 a night hotel room, $250 a pop per express person. So family of four is $1,000. Just get the hotel room, you know, and get the water tax, because you're going to want it. But I would honestly say watching the Born Spectacular stunt show on YouTube is totally fine, because it's the most cinematic thing I've ever seen a theme park do, in that, like, the goal is for you to sit in that theater and for something to happen in front of you, but it looks like you're in the movie. Like, there's a huge screen. It fills your whole periphery. And then they do incredibly complicated and interesting high-tech, like David Copperfield-esque stunts that, like, just transform stage magic into stunt. Highly recommend you watch it, because it's not Waterworld. And it's certainly not Terminator. It is something above and beyond and fully on its own. And a formula that I think would work well for Mission Impossible to, like, honestly rip off. Because you just have, like, kind of like a look-alike IMF agent that can run through the Legends of the Hidden Temple obstacle course that is the stunt show, you know, and come out the other side and be like,
we're going to Indiana Jones stunt this, though, and he's coming. I gotta say this. The first time you see this Ethan Hunt light, like, it's gotta be down on wires, like boom out of the ceiling, down on wires, like that's
like this, like a pancakes out. He flies down. Sure, they break their nose every once in a while, but that's their fault.
Okay, I froze. I'm back.
Drew,
I'm
are you
back.
still?
I'm here.
No, you're good.
You froze, but you're back.
Well, you were so impacted by what we were talking about that your whole it wasn't digital frozen. It was just physical.
Well, I think the entity might have gotten in here, but like when we all saw that they were going to do a stunt show in this new way, didn't we all think, oh man, this should have been Mission Impossible, not Bourne?
Yeah.
A franchise that has not had the longevity.
When the Bourne thing, you know, like, really pushed to happen. And what's interesting is, and like, I just know this because, you know, you just end up learning things about the industry when you have a Lego website. They really wanted James Bond. They wanted James Bond for Lego Dimensions really bad, and they could not sell the Lego company on it, and they could not sell the Bond like Lego. I don't know what they call the House of Bond or whatever. I don't know what it is. They couldn't satisfy them because of all of the sexual innuendo. Like, James Bond is such a womanizer that, like, how do you make a Lego game about the world's largest misogynist? You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't turn into a Lego gag. You know what I mean?
Lots of hearts.
It's real
lots
rough.
Of hearts.
Lots of hearts. So Mission Impossible.
Didn't the Lego game use audio from the Mission Impossible movies too?
100%.
That was really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. If you are a Mission Impossible enthusiast, that's what I'm saying. Like, look, we could go all the way through it because it's awesome. You have to go seek this out.
I'm sure it's on YouTube.
Buy the Dimension game. Oh yeah, you can watch it. You can watch it on my YouTube. It's on the Disney. If you scroll far enough back on Disney Dan, you'll see it. But because I used to put all my Bricks to Life videos
Synergy,
on my
baby.
Disney Dan channel. Yeah, of course. Why? I was so stupid back then. I still am. But stunt shows. The real question, I think, is if you're going to bring people into a Mission Impossible stunt show, it can't be the Bourne Spectacular and it can't be Terminator because people are going to want to relive an Ethan stunt, like, thoroughly. You know what I mean? And I don't know what that means. Is it like clear Chuck E. Cheese type, like, vents that he climbs through and rappels down? Like, we rewatch the scene in real time and there's actors and walls, people walking through hallways. It's about him being like, I need to relive a moment, and I think that most of the moments are too big to put in the theater.
Drew, I think you'll agree with this when it comes to people like McQuarrie and Cruise setting this as here's behind the scenes and them doing like the big jumbotron in the stunt show and being like, hi and welcome. And like, here's what this is all about. And like, when we do this, we're very dedicated to the craft. Like that for me seems like a very,
that
feels their
I think
vibe.
that would probably have to be the only way. Yes, exactly. And you're right, Dan, I don't know how you would do, like, how would you do that motorcycle jump in a little arena, or
They do one in Bourne Spectacular. They do a car chase in Bourne Spectacular. It's actually really well done for what it is. Like, at one point he jumps up and grabs a light post, and the light post turns 90 degrees as well as the whole jumbotron, so it's very cinematic. So you're watching like this Matrix bullet time, but it's happening in front of you. It's stuff like that that's very cool, but it's stage magic in a lot of ways, where I think that a Mission Impossible stunt show has got to be Waterworld, baby. It's got to be like, it's got to be real. It's not got to be like illusion.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of the Indiana Jones of this is how movies are made.
Yeah.
It feels very on brand for Mission Impossible.
I think that would be a way of getting them on board for sure. And I'm trying to think if you could do kind of a fake helicopter train chase scenario where you could show, because that is one like that was all ILM basically, but you could have a physical helicopter and a fake Jean Reno in there, kind of like chasing after him.
Oh, and you just have a big
ways to do it.
Just a big screen behind them that's rushing, but everyone can see that they're filming it that way, like old school 1920s style, even though that's the way no one does it anymore. Because that's,
right, yeah.
That's kind of the lie of all stunt shows is that use the movie making is like, as we know, Steven Spielberg shot the entire market sequence of Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark in one take, and they did all the stuff.
Right. Yep. Yeah, and they did a fight demo before it. I love going to that show because if you watch it, there are like 3 people whose career, they're like paying their bills, their kids are probably in college or something, is to sit and pretend to film that stunt show 4 times a day. Like there's a guy, I sit and I can't watch that show anymore because it's all I do is watch that guy. I watch the 2 people who are like the PAs, and I know they probably have jobs like between shows.
Oh, they're doing stuff
like
during the show.
I got a checklist. Yeah. I got a checklist, and it's my pause rotation or whatever. I've done live theater. I get it. But all I'm saying is that truly the greatest job in the world, I think, the most coveted position is fake filmer of Indiana Jones stunt show.
Yes. Maybe some of them have been there since 1989 as well. We don't know.
Mark Daniels has.
Some of those Indiana Jones, some of those stunt guys have been there the whole time, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. They graduate though. They graduate into.
They start as indie. So
bananas.
I interviewed the very first indie who was there, and he's now one of the directors. Right. So you get to do you do the less strenuous portion. But you want to be the one that does the clickboard. You want to be the scene. Take 5, 6, 12.
Right.
Yeah. That's
sure. I'm sure you get paid a little less, but what a cushy job,
it's
man!
Kind of
it's like being an extra on The Office.
Yeah, it's like the last vestiges of Streetmosphere.
Yeah,
those guys.
Right. Truly, it is.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible would make a great live stunt show in that vein. And I feel like we in general are itching for like that kind of like tangible thing. Like the Twister experience that like it was so tangible, that movie set experience, and Mission Impossible has so much opportunity to offer that, in one way or another.
Yeah.
It's got so much to chew on.
Yeah.
It's just got so much to chew on.
Yes. Yeah.
You know?
And knowing those two, they would probably come up with gags that you could only do in the arena. They'd think of new things for Cruise's character to get into.
And I'm hoping for a stunt show just so we give Tom Cruise the Broadway bug, because maybe he'd get into it. You know what I mean?
God,
Like,
that's coming.
Like, I gotta be on stage.
Coming. It's coming. It's.
Oh, you think?
I can't
wait.
I think so. I cannot wait to see him.
A Mission Impossible Hamlet? Sign me up, baby.
Just anything. I'm very excited about Tom's, when Tom cannot dangle off of anything anymore. That's when it's going to be really exciting to see what he does.
Things are getting real interesting. Yeah. When he enters his Anthony Hopkins era, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Where he's just like a wise, wizened old man,
Yes.
I love it.
He's still going to look 30 when he does it, but
I was going to say he doesn't age, but it would still require makeup.
What I can't get away from with the Mission Impossible brand as a whole, though, is that every movie ends with Ethan dramatically disarming a bomb at the last moment. My God, it's like and is that appropriate for a theme park audience to you know what I mean? Like for a stunt, it's how a Mission Impossible, it's how every plot ends. It's this big dramatic, saving the day at the last minute mission, not impossible. Right. You know what I mean? Mission complete, baby. It's that tension. How do you even translate that into a stunt show?
Now you're making me think of how you would do the Indian car park sequence from Ghost Protocol.
Yeah,
in a
that'd
movie.
Be cool.
Either in a stunt environment or because there is something kind of theme parky about the way that those cars are getting slotted around.
You're so right. Absolutely.
Right.
That would be cool.
That would be really cool. No bombs. Yeah.
And honestly, even a coaster, through false mechanisms that, you went through the subway, you went through, a couple, an ending in a server farm or something.
Yeah.
That could be big. There are big dramatic set pieces from the movies that are contained and highly recognizable, from the brand.
There is something like a original test track version where you're kind of going through these things and then you kind of get launched out into some chase or experience or something.
I think it would be more compared to Radiator Racers, if we're being honest.
That's true. I'm just thinking about the kind of there was a lot of mechanical things moving around in that initial.
That's true.
Test track.
That's the test facility,
right? Movie ride, Radiator Racers.
Test
yeah, exactly. It's a test facility. Yeah. It's got to be an IMF test facility.
Exactly.
That's obvious now.
Yes.
It's beyond obvious. That's what it's got to be.
Yes.
And you can get all the surviving executives to come back and do the pre-show. Official announcements. Gosh, I was in Singapore once and I rode the Battlestar Galactica dueling coaster, and it was the most painful thing in my entire life to watch these Sci-Fi Network actors read cue cards for a $50,000 payout or something. You know what I mean? It was so painful.
Who was on there? Was Edward James?
All of them. All of them. You gotta go on YouTube and watch. It's the most pained. You thought Veggie Frou was bad. It's the most pained pre-show experience I've ever had in my life. You watch their eyes read the cue cards. They are so out of it.
You've been on Cosmic Rewind, right? Which is the worst pre-show of all time, right?
Yeah, it has fun magic in it,
That's
and
true.
I got to give it that. I mean, reuse magic that's already been done before, but it's the single most derivative ride in the history of rides.
You're never going to get over. It ain't going to get no better than Bill Paxton in Twisters Ride It Out. It ain't going to get no better than that.
No,
when it comes to not.
I thought you were going to say Poseidon's Fury.
We're not giving
the
a
false
crap
wall
and
reveal.
getting a paycheck. That is Bill Paxton. Twisters Ride It Out, no doubt.
Couldn't be.
It's incredible.
I need
to
be in the same room as Helen Hunt. They
couldn't
hated
be
each other so much. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love learning that kind of stuff about honestly one of the greatest films, I think. Twisters.
So great.
I could worship that film if I could. Twisters has a 4DX experience, the new one.
Yeah.
Do you think Mission Impossible 8 is a prime candidate to 4DX?
Well,
do you think it will happen?
I think Fallout and Dead Reckoning Part 1 had 4DX exhibition.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I've heard
really?
Fallout it was really crazy. Yeah. We didn't get to it. I don't know why neither of us saw the 4D. I saw the Screen X, which was have you ever been to one of those where the side of the theater there are projectors that are actually projecting more image on the side of the theaters, which was pretty insane. In Top Gun, it was like
it's like having those LED lights behind your TV just to like extend the color. You know.
Well, I saw it in Koreatown. I saw Top Gun in Koreatown, and
whoa,
I don't know if it translated to the Korean audience, but I
saw Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol in Singapore in a theater in Singapore.
And
maybe it's why I love it so much.
And did they love it?
Oh, they ate it up.
Okay.
But it was cool seeing it with the subtitles.
Yeah, with the subtitles. That's cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love this series. It's the greatest series ever.
It's the best.
It's the greatest series ever.
It's the best.
It's
But
truly,
Drew,
it's
it's not the only thing that you're interested in. You love animation.
No, of course not.
No.
I do love animation. Absolutely. I'm watching every YouTube video. I'm doing vocal cameos for Defunct Land. I'm in the Epcot one, the one that nobody watched, but I'm in there.
What's your cameo? Tell us. Give us your cameo.
I'm a guy in the lobby, like hitting on a woman, and I'm saying I make video essays, but they're not really videos. They're more like just written essays. Yeah.
I'm also in the lobby scene, and that's amazing. I hear that voice when I listen to it. That's so funny you say that. I'm the person. I'm in the lobby, be like, "Do you think they have peanut M&Ms?"
Essential.
Yeah. I don't think I'll ever ascend higher than being Dotson in the Fast Pass documentary. I'm the scientist. I'm like the man, like the business lackey at the end of that episode. That's in the animation. It's like, boss, the monster's out of control. That's me. So
I love
he's
it.
like, and everyone keeps feeding it. Yeah, that was me.
I love
it. Listen.
Yes.
You, sir, put together an art book for a Pixar movie.
I did.
An entirely, and I say this honestly, an entirely underrated Pixar film.
I agree.
Tremendous. The end of that movie punched me in the throat.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like it was brutal. I am, and like I've recently lost my father, and I know that this is a movie I will never watch again. Like I'm sorry. It's also Big Fish. I can never again. It was great while it lasted.
Yeah.
But my question is,
yes,
Drew,
yes.
how do you even begin to put together an art book of a movie made by one of the biggest, animation houses in the history of mankind, that employs a bajillion people, you know what I mean? That got all the doodles. The art is everywhere.
Yeah.
Like how that gives me anxiety. Like getting that job would give me anxiety. Be like, how many people do I need to talk to? Like what? Well,
what's interesting is I only talked to 3 people for a considerable amount of time, but the deadline was so tight. I think I delivered the draft 2 days after my last interview. It was super somebody had dropped out and they were like, "Oh, Drew will do it," and so I was at Pixar for the junket, the long lead day for Toy Story 4. And I just put 2 more days onto my schedule and just hung out at Pixar for a couple of days. Saw the movie, talked to people, saw the layout. Because, part of it is you're kind of writing around the images that are already there. So they have a kind of loose layout. But it was
Dan,
super fun.
Did we mention this is Onward for our audio listeners? I don't know.
Onward.
We showed it, but we didn't.
Onward, yes.
The Art of Onward, yeah.
Onward.
Drew?
Yes.
Drew wrote The Art of Onward. Yeah. Available on Amazon.
On Amazon. But the Ultraman book that's coming out in December is really me going insane and talking to 24 people that were involved in the movie and going over my word count by about 20,000 words. Yes, there it is. Look
the art and making of
cover.
Ultraman Rising.
Yes, which is
wow.
Drew,
it's
I love this movie. I got a big.
So sweet.
I came back. Now I've told Dan is so tired of me talking about Japan.
Oh my god!
I came back from Japan in May, and
Mr. I went to Japan.
All I'm saying is that you go and you kind of go, there'll probably be Godzilla figures on toy shelves, and you do find them for sure. I bought several behind me. But I had no knowledge of Ultraman. It was totally new to me, and it's all over the place there. It's their Superman is what I've been told, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so this movie really does sort of thread that needle for those who've never have any Ultraman experience, but also is very dedicated to the kaiju mythos as well.
Dan can't watch it because it's a father-son story.
Yeah,
child story.
Oh, well, all right. Yeah. I'm out. Yeah. Never mind. No, I'm not really buff and powerful, so I think I don't have a lot of things to relate to in that way.
Well, you have
you
have children.
Myself.
You can see that. It's a very cute.
I
story.
do have children. Yeah, I do have children.
But the producer of Ultraman, I saw him in Annecy, and he goes, "So I read the book. Nobody's going to have any questions." And I was like, "Okay, I guess I did a thorough enough job that the producer of the movie was somewhat annoyed by the level of detail I went into." So yeah, that was crazy. And like you said, there is so much 65 years or something of mythology is tough to kind of boil down, along with all these other amazing stories from the artists. And,
that original show, the very first show, it's just on YouTube. You can just watch it. It's a blast. Yeah, it's so goofy and fun, and
it's really fun. Yeah,
there was a, and I wish I could remember the name of it. A superhero Sentai show Power Rangers. It came in the age of Beetleborgs.
Yeah.
There was also one where it was three kids in a basement who had a garage band, and they would surf the web by hitting their instruments together, and then they would be, and those costumes were very Ultraman, and that's what I thought Ultraman was the costume from this show. But in reality, they had just bought other Sentai. They just bought more of that footage and made an American rap for it. So who knows? It was probably very inspired by Ultraman.
Well, Dan, as a costume enthusiast, we do get into the costume in the book, and the fact that his mask was based on the extraterrestrial, the gray alien phenomenon. That's what those big eyes are based on.
Really?
Yeah, and that was apparently already in the culture in the 60s.
Yeah, it appeared in the 60s. We didn't start thinking aliens look like that until two very popular books that hit the market. I can't even remember. One of them's Burning Skies or something like that. It's a terrifying abduction book.
And Close Encounters.
After those books came out,
solidified it. Yeah.
So he debuted in 66. And he was actually those eyes and everything were meant for a bad guy that he was supposed to be fighting. And they were like, wait, no, this is too cool. He is the hero. So I know Dan loves a good costume.
I love it. I think the costume for Ultraman.
Oh, Dan.
Yeah. I think the costume for Ultraman is amazing. Honestly, it looks beautiful. I'm familiar with them.
You've told me, Dan, in the past that you're nervous about getting into costume evolutions of Japanese characters because it's so in depth and so insane.
Yeah.
People want a Godzilla evolution, and I just don't there just feels like there's just, and that's not a disrespect to the Godzilla community. There's just a lot of Godzilla movies in the way that there's a lot of Bond movies,
Yeah, but
it's just
specific eras that you can when he had the really big eye.
Sure.
That would be a great video.
But what people want from me is they want but he was missing a toe in 7 scenes, and did you notice how the spines were? And it's I'm blessed. I'm doing a Thomas the Tank Engine episode right now, and I'm crossing my fingers. I'm like, guys, train weirdos, I love you. I'm here for you. I'm also kind of a train weirdo. I get it. But just leave me alone if I miss 3 or 4 things. I'm gonna be okay. I like trains too, but you don't have to be mean about it.
You know what? I
had no idea the train.
Oh my God!
I think as someone who has got some serious Ultraman knowledge, and after having this conversation about theme parks for Mission Impossible, before we end, Drew, what would you think of an Ultraman attraction? How would we do a good Ultraman attraction?
I would love that. I think this movie has a lot of great Ultraman scenes. I think you could kind of just put yourself in the shoes of Ultraman as he's dealing with this giant kaiju baby and all of that. I think Ultraman Rising, I think you're right, Nathan. It's a very good entry point for people. It's very accessible. Dan still hasn't watched it yet. He's got a lot going on right now. But he will watch it before December 3rd when my book comes out.
I'm going to watch it.
I'm going to get him a signed
copy. There will be a test.
But yeah. There will be a test, yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, is there and I'm going to ask this later, but is there a place to go on the Drew Taylor website to get a signed art book and stuff? I know people dig having.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be events and things. I'm always talking to Shannon about stuff, so hopefully.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, but yeah,
do your events.
Yes, we would love it.
We need events.
I know events are fun. And am I seeing?
I know it's insane. I've been thinking about making a cameo just because I have enough people that like message me, be like, "It's my kid's birthday. Can you send a message?" And it's like I could if I had a pipeline, but
You should do a cameo.
I have way too bad of ADD.
No,
my
would be
ADD is
great.
too intense. But like, I
Dan,
Dan, selling out. So
Dan,
I'm
I'll
on the
run it
fence
for you
about
if
it,
you
guys.
give
It's
me
not
25%.
selling out. It's there you go. Nathan's on board. It's not selling out. It's buying in. We have to remember that.
It's buying
So
in.
we have to remember
It's buying in.
Yes.
It's buying in.
And are you guys going to be at D23? Dan, I heard you were not.
Did you? No, I made that video that was very critical of Disney and their conference scene. Honestly, I'm not sad about like not having to be up at 4 a.m. to hit a queue and not like going to multiple locations. Never go to, everyone knows John Mulaney taught us, don't go to a secondary location.
No,
you know what I mean? Like you stay in the primary location, like going to the secondary location is danger. And I have secondary location anxiety. I don't transition well because of my, whatever's wrong with me. You know what I mean? Like TBD diagnosis on my mental bizarrities, but I don't handle transition well. I'm just saying the show was called VR Trooper.
Yes.
And it was awesome.
Yes.
Just as he had it in his brain, he had to figure it out. You did it.
He had to figure it out.
Oh no! If you watch the replay, guys, over the past 10 minutes, Dan's been ADDing to the side trying to figure out, and eventually it hit me. It's like, Dan, you idiot! Just Google shows like Power Rangers, and sure as shit, it popped right up.
Yeah.
So
there it is.
VR Troopers is amazing.
Well,
you guys have to check it out if you haven't.
And I was looking at the schedule today, and it said, give yourself 90 minutes to get over to the Honda Center.
Crazy.
From the convention center in Anaheim.
Crazy.
And it's just like, no? Is there in
No.
now? Yeah.
No, I bought when Kevin and I went to D23 last D23, and we got an Airbnb that was advertised to be like very much on the strip, like in the main Disneyland area at convention. It wasn't. It was about a mile away. It was actually in an apartment complex right next to the Honda Center. Oh. And when I realized where it was, separate from like the rotting garbage on the porch and the bloodstains on the mattress, like in the bedroom,
that's just
like the general
good
sense
old
of filth,
Anaheim, flavor,
and a crime,
right?
And
and also
and a crime,
an Airbnb. Yes, it was a crime. Me being there was a crime. I learned that. Like I reported, it was such a terrible experience. But what I remember was looking at the map and being like, there is no way I am staying here and going to the convention center. Like it's going to be a nightmare to be doing this all the time.
Yeah.
And now they're like, no, that's the point. That's what we're doing now. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm worried.
Yeah. I took Kevin to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles during the last D23. That was my big. That is a LA staple.
Des?
You eat fried chicken and waffles.
Thanks for inviting me, Drew. I really appreciate it.
And you were probably holding court somewhere. You and Figment were greeting the masses, doing a meet and greet.
Drew,
right?
are you
I'm
hitting?
sad to
are you
not
hitting
go,
D23,
but
Drew?
I have to go to.
See, but you
got to
do it.
My job.
You got to do it in a professional way where it is. I would imagine a little more convenient. Maybe.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, I'm sort of being told where to go, which is nice. But also,
are you recording a live Light the Fuse at D23? Is that what you're doing for work?
That's right. Charles will be going. He'll be. Why am I here at D23? Shut up, Charles. We're recording.
Light the Fuse.
What are you guys doing as we finish up here? What are you guys doing on the podcast right now?
We're in a little bit of a holding pattern as we wait for news about 8. I think we might be going back to set in the next few months, which is exciting. But beyond that, we're just sort of we are now kind of rolling with the tide of promotion, and I should kick off, I think, at the beginning of the new year. So
very good.
Yeah, we're gonna keep putting out some of the legacy episodes on the official kind of main channel, but it's exciting. It's going to be a good year.
You have to cover Lego Mission Impossible.
We did an
it is
episode
such
about video games like at the beginning of the show, but that's a good idea that we should revisit. Yeah.
Yeah, because that is worth its weight in gold. Just watch a couple playthroughs. I can send them to you, Drew. My buddies are big Lego playthrough guys, so I can send you one or two for you to watch it, because it is packed with Easter eggs that you're gonna. But they're all Lego-fied, So it's they're like Lego Mission Impossible dad jokes. They're perfect. They're so much fun.
I've seen the
highly
cutscenes,
recommend
but
it.
I haven't seen actual video of the playthrough. So I want to see the levels, and I have the.
That's the best part about it.
Yeah, and it's one of the only Ethan Hunt physical things is that little pack with the think it has like a computer and it has him and something else. Oh, it has a car.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
A car.
Yeah.
Well, the builds in Lego Dimension, you could transform into 3 different things. It was part of the gameplay.
Okay.
That as you unlocked Ethan, you built the first build, and then as you progress through the level, the build would change, and that those modified, and you would rebuild. The idea as a kid, there are no instructions in that pack. You have to play the games, and the games are in the instructions are in the game. So you unlock the instructions to evolve your build to turn it into this, and then this, and then this, as it gets more powers and different abilities as you progress
Drew,
through the story.
I'm into
It's really
Drew,
a fun
if
mechanic.
if you leave this Mission Impossible attraction, one thing we've not talked about is you're going to exit through a gift shop. So what is your dream Mission Impossible
Yeah. Oh
merch?
my God. There's so much stuff. We are always like clamoring for merch. And thankfully we have gotten enough kind of like stuff from the set. Like my favorite thing is this Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol winter hat that one of the producers gave us that has the
Nice.
really cool logo that's just MI and 4 dots
Cool.
for MI4 and
Whoa.
it's from a deleted scene. They were going to have a big snow scene in Mission Impossible 4, and that's why the hats were made for people on shooting that scene that never ended up
cool.
happening. So that is the double level of like, so yeah, I mean, I would love just like shit with the logo on it and stuff with the IMF logo. Like,
You're just looking for the most
I'm
basic
just
merch.
anything,
I'm sitting over here
anything.
like, ooh, I would pay like $159 for a beautiful replica of the rabbit's foot.
yes,
You know what I
the
mean?
rabbit's
Like, or
foot,
something. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
you couldn't have the knife
I
from
would-
one, but that would be really cool to have that
yeah.
knife that
the chewing gum, having
Oh,
chewing
gum,
gum, like
yeah.
just Mission Impossible chewing
Chewing
gum,
gum, yeah.
it would be genius.
Yes, rabbit's foot,
and, like,
obviously.
if you go-
Yeah. What else do
Right.
you need?
And you go the route of the McDonald's Happy Meal spy gear, like kind of novelty.
Yeah.
And you have a line of, like they did with Tron, you have just a line of Mission Impossible, like a wristband that like throws UV light and like, secret ink and, like that kind of stuff. You have like some Mission Impossible, it's not like a
it's
joke
ILM.
shop kind
It's
of thing,
ILM
but
Labs. That's the brand. Yeah,
ILM gear.
Labs.
Yeah. Like I remember at the end of Mission Men in Black ride, you could get the badge, you could get the neuralizer, you could get the sunglasses. Like I want a case that sells the $7,000 Oakleys that he wears.
Yeah,
in the,
I was going to say you could do the whole like the Oakleys, the Persols that are in Ghost
right, and then
Protocol.
dupes.
Yeah.
You got to get like theme park dupes for it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And IMF badges with your name on it.
Yeah.
Like, or maybe like a little stand that you could like get your picture taken and it poops out a little badge.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would love like little like kind of theme, like they're in the attraction vehicles, but doing that for the IMF, like you have the train from 4, you have the boat from 5, and it would,
Yes,
and it would, like, kind of
you need all the
change
vehicles.
over, yeah, kind of like switch
For
over.
sure.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. Yeah.
Now imagine like a shower rod, like like a springy shower rod, right?
Okay.
And it's painted black and it's vertical. It's like this, right? And you get into a contraption that it doesn't matter like your size, but you get in there, the shower rod comes back and then it sits on your back a little bit, and it has like a little square of fabric, and then essentially you're doing like a Batman, like a vintage Batman-esque pose where then you plank on like a white box
Yes.
and like with a black cord, and like you take the photo sideways and then turn it so that
that
it
would
looks
be
like
great.
you're
Weirdly,
That would be amazing.
weirdly, this gift shop also sells Gideon's Bibles. That's just part. That's just part
Yes,
of.
Bible,
for sure,
stamps, yeah.
for sure,
Those
for
damn-
sure.
those damn
Yeah,
Gideons.
absolutely.
I mean,
those damn Gideons. Yeah,
But like
absolutely.
I also want disposable cameras like on the shelf, like
from 3.
I want
Yeah.
like vinyls. I want there to be like the vibe of, and I also want there to be something like in the Harry Potter lands that like every like 90 minutes like it poofs smoke or something.
that
You know
would
what I
actually
mean?
be
Like,
that would
or
be
there's like a
great
way
theme for the whole thing can be the shop is called the Vinyl Solution, which is kind of dark,
Yeah.
but that is that would be the whole thing. You could
Was that the name of the shop in the show, in the movie?
I believe that's the name, because I think we printed shirts at one point.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, a vinyl shop would be a great spot.
Yeah.
You fold the t-shirts nicely on those racks and stuff. It could be the vinyl solution is an amazing idea.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
infuriates me on a daily basis that I can't go to the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind gift shop and buy that dumb little blue frog that Yondu buys from the dude who literally owns the shop. Like, why can't I'll pay $89 for like a legitimate QVC quality crystal blue dashboard frog with a 3M strip for me to stick on it like an Easy Pass. Like, I want one so bad. What are we sleeping on? You know, and I feel like there are a couple Mission Impossible things like that, like the gum.
Yeah.
You know, there's a couple like little trinkets. There's little things, you know.
Yes.
And there's no way you don't have like a skin mask of somebody. You know what I mean? Like Alec Baldwin or something.
Like the ski mask that they put over Ethan's head in the first one, and that comes back in the fourth with like the kind of like button eyes. You know, when he's going to going to meet Vanessa Redgrave. Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
Yes. There's some opportunities here. The other theming you could do is, you know, when he goes and meets that like arms dealer in the fourth one, the Fog, where he's like you have all the like, you know, boxes of things. Yeah, that could be another great.
These movies are truly a gift. I
good.
love them so much. Yeah, and you also have to sell calculators and stuff. Anything that you can make with that's electronic with that's clear.
Yeah,
I just want a lot of clear electronics so you can see this. You know what I mean? Like they're X-ray.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, you want like '90s. I see the Nickelodeon pencil sharpener on your desk. You want things like that.
Oh my God, I'm on a quest. I'm on a quest right now to obtain all the Nickelodeon Blast line of gear.
It's very hard. I've been looking recently as well. It's tough. It's
It's tough. Yeah. Drew, stay off the market until I'm done.
Okay, let me Will do.
At the end of our episode, we like to talk to our guests and my producer, and also I like to share myself in a fun and tell where we talk about what we're doing for fun. So, Drew, are you doing anything for fun right now? What are you doing for fun? What does the host of the Mission Impossible podcast do for fun?
I hang out.
And is it rock climbing?
It's not rock climbing. It's nothing physical, although I have been going to Pilates with my wife and, feeling much better about myself in that regard. But I'm hanging out with my dog. That's really my fun spot, is hanging out with my dog. I have a little dog who is a survivor of the Korean meat market, and she came over here, and we got her. Dan is
excuse
Dan
me,
looks like Snoop Dogg at the Olympics right now. Yeah,
bro, that's something. I know you can rescue greyhounds for very specific reasons, but I did not know that there was like a Make-A-Wish that you could call up that they're pardoning dogs like turkeys. And you could pick them up.
Don't Google it.
Don't Google it. There was a great like foundation here in LA that went over there and picked him up, and she is the light of my life. So yeah, that is what I'm doing. I'm hanging.
Wow, what a great thing to talk about on my podcast about fun, Drew. Holy God,
Dan.
Jesus,
it's fun now.
My Lord Christ, please forgive me. My God, comedy God. I'm so sorry.
She's having a much better time now. She is having fun. I have fun with her. That is what I love doing for fun. In addition to watching every movie and TV show that's out there, I can't recommend the Batman animated series that just came on.
Man, you're stealing my thunder. That was what my fun thing is right now.
Go ahead. I'm teeing you.
You
up.
are. This is good. This is good quality broadcasting. Okay, so my thing is Batman Caped Crusader. I'm a little mixed on DC animation at times. I love Bruce Timm's early Batman work. I love Brave and the Bold because it's goofy and fun, and it does its own thing. And then this new one,
I was more of a Young and the Restless fan.
Very funny, very funny. You're a very funny man. And so this new one, man, it's kind of like they dial up the 90s version to be a little more PG-13. But you know what? I just have to say it. Batman versus Tommy Guns is my favorite Batman. Anytime you're giving gangsters fedoras and trench coats and Tommy Guns, like that's how I see Batman. Like it's ingrained. And so that show has been a blast. It's been so fun. I've already liked some of it's not really a spoiler. It's in the first episode, but like the Penguin is a sort of a more Mae West, like lady version. And it's kind of fun to have these variations on things, but people die. Like this show, the only big difference is there's no like,
Batman's mom and dad
always forever. But the thing is like
Martha!
The early one, it was more like, there would be a close up of someone going, because someone just met their doom.
Yeah.
Here, man, they're just like, we're gonna put you in a suitcase and chuck you in the ocean. Like it's pretty hardcore, but I very much enjoyed it.
It's a nice companion to X-Men '97, which I think matured in similar ways.
Absolutely.
From the '90s.
Yeah, 100%.
But
Dan,
yeah, it's great.
what are you into? What are you having fun
Dan, what
with?
are you doing for fun?
Well, what I'm doing for fun is marathoning Mission Impossible movies now. I can't stop watching them. As soon as it's like, oh, we're talking to Drew tonight. I felt the itch. It started to creep up on me. I thought I was like suffering a stroke. Nope. I began watching Mission Impossible films, and it's like a curse. And you once you're sucked in, it's like lighting the black flame candle. Like you got to complete it, or Long Legs comes after you or something. I don't know. I haven't seen that movie yet, but I hear it's spooky. Mission Impossible movies are now my fun, and my poor girlfriend, God rest her soul, she's going to just be watching nonstop Mission Impossible.
Is she into it
for a minute now?
Is she digging?
Always. Okay. It's always like, oh, your boy movies. Now, she doesn't do dragons. Can't get her, like, if there's a dragon in it, she's like,
can't train her in.
Peace out, nerd.
Her.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Dragons and dwarves and hobbits and stuff. She's like Game of Thrones. None of it does it for her. But there's a lot to offer with Mission Impossible. Very handsome men.
Yes,
you know what I mean. Very handsome men. Yeah, very handsome men. And much like why my grandfather watched 007 movies. I said it in the last episode. My mom one day's like, he's not watching for the action, so you can really bring the ladies in with these movies.
I thought you were going to say that's when we found out my grandfather was gay.
Yeah.
No, he liked all the Bond ladies. He was a Bond ladies woman. Yeah. He was
ladies now and then you just get a
bikinis.
Josh Holloway to show up to die. Like it's good. It's a good series for that kind of stuff. Just handsome.
I wish Josh would come back. I wish we could figure out a way of bringing him back.
Yeah.
He was a great member of the team. He had a great look. Yeah,
a vibe.
Yeah.
It was a vibe.
I'm really excited to see where 8 goes. I'm, I was left on the edge of my seat with that.
Oh,
and
Dan.
as I spend time in the new terminal at Orlando, I now know what's going on with my luggage because of 7. I didn't know that it was Pinball Wizard back there, but now I know.
It scratched that itch that Toy Story 2 left when it comes to getting in the back of airports. I'm very happy about that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, watching Mission Impossible movies is my fun. You all sound like you're having fun. I'm having fun. Drew, it was an honor having you.
It was an honor to be
Thank
here.
you.
Let me know whenever you need me. I will show up.
Amazing.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I soft launched the podcast and now we're hitting it hard with lots of guests and action.
I love it.
And so I'm hyped. Is there a release date? Do we know when 8's supposed to come out?
I think May 25th. Next year, and it
will summer blockbuster inbound
May 23rd, and it is going to scratch every itch.
Good.
Oh God, you just wait, you
Drew,
wait.
where can people?
There is stuff.
Where can people find you though, man? The Wrap, of course.
I think on the Wrap every day, churning out A plus content, but also you can follow me on Twitter at Drew Tailored, like a tailored shirt. That's how I always describe it. And let me know what you think of this.
Are your business cards in the shape of shirts?
I should. You could tell that Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy was out when I made my Twitter account because I was like, oh, Tinker Tailor, so that's funny.
Very good.
Very
good.
It's
one of my favorite spy movies of all time, so I'm perfectly fine with it.
It's a great movie. It's a great movie. Yeah.
And now look at you, Drew. You are the podcast host of the greatest spy podcast known to man. So I think you planted seeds and they grew, buddy.
It's true. I like Dan said, in summer 96, same summer as Twister, we were given the Mission Impossible movie, and look at us now.
Oh, I would love to know the stats of Army enlistment or people trying to apply because meteorology rode in the nation 10%.
Really?
Meteorology applicants after Twister and Universal specifically funded research that resulted in mobile radars. Twister changed the face of meteorology. Weather Channel changed within years into an action-packed recreation simulator of disaster weather. Twister reinvented the game,
I love it.
And it was what Anthony Rapp was doing when he was waiting to be hired to star in Rent, which is a funny story. Anthony Rapp was on the summer. He was on set, like waiting to hear from his agent if he got cast in Rent. It's incredible. He's on the bad guy team.
Carrie Elway's team. Yeah.
Carrie Elway's team. He picks up his hat after he gets punched. If you watch that scene where he comes up, he's like, "You son of a bitch," and he punches him, and his hat falls off. Listen, I know, Drew, you don't have a Twister podcast, but I might start one.
Listen, Carrie Elway was in Mission
Yes,
Impossible
he was.
7, so he was.
My gosh,
great turn there.
Yeah,
no, I love it.
Carrie Elway is Robin Hood Men in Tights was my first dirty movie I ever watched, and it changed my life. It directly informed the human being that I am today.
Dan, that's very wholesome. That's your dirty movie.
Yeah, well, I was raised very Christian. Okay. You know what I mean? Like preaching competitions I was entered into. You know what I mean? So that was my first dirty movie.
Definite other universe where you are a preacher for sure. For sure.
For sure. Yeah. Voting for JD Vance. I 100%.
I'm glad we're in this universe.
Yes.
It looks enough like me. You know what I mean? Yeah, me too, Drew. I'm glad we're in this universe.
I'm glad you've ended this podcast talking about JD Vance. It's a good way to end it. That's exactly what we want.
Yeah. And I'm grateful I'm not my own Seamus. You know what I mean, Nathan?
You can't.
Because once you.
So this is what we've been doing every episode. Is he can't end the podcast? He just likes to talk. This man, so he can't wrap it, and so he's. I know, and then you also are like referencing. We're bulk creating. We're bulk creating episodes, and he's referencing things that maybe in the future, maybe in the past. Who knows? But.
You know what? That's why people love Doctor Who, because they feel like time travelers when they watch the show. And so
we do love it.
Well, what are you gonna know? What are you gonna do? They made medication for it. It makes me super anxious, so I can't take it. Drew, it's really been an honor. This has been fun.
Yes.
You're a gem.
You're a gem. We'll text off hours, and I'll give you the real dirt on some of these stories, and you can take them.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to the podcast right now, the thing I love the most and the thing that I hate the most, this is my final thought, is when on a podcast, two people are like, let's talk about that when the podcast is over. I'm always like, ooh. And I'm always like, ooh. And the first thing I do is I go to the comments and someone's eventually like, yeah, he was talking about this guy. I'm such a whore for like podcast gossip that affects my life in no way, shape, or form. But it inspires me and it drives me mad, so it's my Jekyll and Hyde. But I love it. I can't wait to get that text, Drew.
All right,
it's been fun.
Thank you guys
this has been fun.
Yes.
It's over now. The podcast is over.
Goodbye,
Thank you for listening. It's been fun.
This has been a production of 710 Media.